Hello, Zoom.
Okay, great. So welcome to our live. We have Dee Dee here and of course me, Holly Lotus, and we're here for conversations with coaches. And the topic today is sexy, juicy mamas. And of course, we're having some mama problems today. so before we get started, Dee Dee, do you want to sync us in with pleasure first, or would you like to introduce yourself first so that everybody knows who you are?
Sure. Let's do pleasure first, and then
Great.
fuck the identity. Let's just go to pleasure. Okay. Can you hear me okay? I'm just trying to mess with my volume.
Yes.
Yeah.
My phone volume won't actually go all the way down because I'm on a live, I think.
Yeah, that's the
There's this insane echo. Oh, we could plug in headphones to our phone and then we don't have to hear it.
Well, if we're not charging our phone, we could do that. I'll charge mine up for a little bit and then I'll put the headset on, so it'll be better.
Okay.
Okay, so this is really fun because I'm going to do pleasure first with just one hand because the other hand is holding this. All right, so I'm going to invite everyone who's on here live, everyone who is watching replay. Send us some love because we're two hot mamas, okay? Send us some hearts, y'all. Can we see some hearts, please? Show us some love. All right. I'm gonna invite you all to just bring your focus inward. Go ahead and close your eyes. And just notice the natural rise and fall of your belly. And you can even take your hand and place it on your belly. And then bring your hand then to your heart. And take your hand and place it just a few inches above the heart. And just notice if you can notice anything. Good. And then we're going to move into another blueprint. Begin by rubbing your heart. Just rub your chest area there. Keeping your awareness on the breath. Nice gentle inflow. And a nice gentle outflow. Letting go of any tension that may be residing in your shoulders, maybe your hips and your back. And now just take your hand and just press firmly on the heart. Just press into it. Good. And then take your hands and just scratch across your chest, across the heart. Maybe you want to just pinch a little bit of skin there. You can go a little further down if you want. Get a little fresh with your nippies. Yeah. Good. And then moving back to the space above the heart. And just begin to slowly pat your heart. Just imagine there's a little space there, like an accordion. Good. And then rub again. Press and hold. And scratch. Good, and now we're going to go through one more time. Space above the heart. This time rock your pelvis forward and backward. In Kundalini Yoga, we call these spinal flexes. So you're working the spine. Good, now rub the heart. 2 actions going. Imagine your heart and your pelvis being connected. Good. Press firm. Keep the hips rocking. Good. And scratch. Good. And now just come to complete stillness. You can allow your hand to just drop down to your lap. Just give the head a nice and gentle neck roll. Letting out any sighs, any sounds. Letting the tension go, being released with the vibration of the sound. Reverse. Playing with different sounds. Ooh. Good. Put your head back to center. Take a nice deep breath in and out. There we go. All right. If anybody wants to share how they're feeling, popcorn words. How are you feeling, sister?
So much more grounded.
Yeah, right?
From our frazzle of figuring it out.
Yeah, right. It's so easy in some ways. It's so hard and so easy, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to remember just to take a few minutes and tune into your breath and your body. It can totally reset. Thank you, Mendez. Thanks for popping on. We see you. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. So
Yeah.
now that we're all grounded, would you like to share a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do? Just introduce yourself to us.
Totally. Yeah, thank you. I'm just so excited to be on here today because first off, we're both mamas and we're both all about pleasure. So I am Dee Dee. Dave, many people know me as Dave Darshan. I love to go by Dee Dee. I'm a mama of 2. I'm a single mom of 2 kids in Denver. And I'm a pleasure coach. And I help women, especially mamas, reconnect to their pleasure. And most often that's pleasure in the bedroom, but a lot of times there's lots of pleasure outside of the bedroom as well. And so I've designed a system called the Pleasure Code to help moms really find their way back to their center and their pleasure. If they're feeling overwhelmed and tired and exhausted, pleasure can seem like the furthest thing from their mind, but it's one of the most nourishing things to get you back. So that's a little bit about who I am and what I do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's really fun is that we connect so well on the pleasure level. And so
Yeah,
and we're both mamas. And so there's like,
totally.
how do you be a mama?
Right?
Perfect.
Totally.
I was just typing in to put the like so you could look at both
Oops.
cameras.
I know, I'm trying. It's like, this is just so much fun. Okay, hold please. Well, let me just check my battery real quick. Maybe I'll be okay. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna be okay. There.
Okay, cool. Great.
Is that okay? You see
Yeah,
me?
except that there's a echo.
Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. Is that better?
No, because I think it's right by your speaker on your computer.
Oh.
Can you plug in your headphones?
What happens if I do this? Well, that's not gonna work. Well, I'll just hold it like this and I'll get some really awesome biceps going on. Oops. There we go.
You just
I'm just
have to
gonna hold
laugh
it.
at us.
Oh my God, it's like insane. I can't look at both, Holly. It's like I'm going to be cross-eyed if I do that. Is that better?
But guys, okay, so I just want to speak to it really quickly because this is how motherhood goes, right?
Parenting 101.
We are deep in meditation. I'm so grounded. I'm so centered. Ah, mommy!
It's so true. It's
I
so
need
true.
attention right now in this moment.
Right?
And
It's
or oh, I dropped the glass and it shattered all over the place. Now you have to clean it up. Oh, you're in the middle of
totally.
Zoom live.
Yep.
I cut my toe. So how do you stay juicy, sexy,
Right.
sensual in these
Right.
moments of shit coming up in the middle of what you think you're going to be doing as
Totally.
mama?
Right.
And so that's what we're wanting to talk about
That's what
today.
we're.
And it's just crazy that it's not even crazy. It's just perfect. But it's
It's
meant
yeah.
this way.
And you were totally going to laugh at this because as I was doing that whole practice, my kids were outside of the door. I don't know if you heard them.
We heard them.
You heard them. Okay, great. Yeah. And meanwhile, Mama's just going into Zen, like, tap that heart center, girl.
Right? Let them do their noisy wall.
There they go again. See them?
Yeah.
So,
Don't we
so
get
it's
so
funny.
good?
You asked, how do you do it? How do you stay centered? And first off, I think there's a couple of different things like focus, like being able to just drop in and be where you are in the moment really helps me. And like I was actually really admiring you, Holly, as we were popping on here because I mean we just kept meeting every single technology challenge that we could. And we're still working with them,
Yeah.
but it still keep going, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a certain amount of like focus and fortitude that you just sort of develop, especially as a single mom, where it's like, okay, this is where I am here in this moment, right here, right now. And it's a practice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, got pulled out, they're screaming out there, boom, okay, back to my body. And for me, that's one of my comeback twos is the body,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So how can I get myself back into my body? And breath is usually one of the ways that I do that.
I hear that. It's so often is like, how do you come back? What's the
Mm-hmm.
quickest way to come into your pleasure? Is
Yep.
just breathe. Take a
Yep.
moment and breathe.
Yep.
So coming into your body with a breath, that's beautiful.
One of the techniques that I always like to share with mamas is something called the box breath, where you inhale like for, let's say, 3 seconds, then you hold the breath for 3 seconds, then you exhale for 3 seconds, and then you lock the breath out for 3 seconds. And so if you can just do a couple cycles of the box, like 3 cycles of the box will help you.
Can you walk
I mean, even just pausing and taking a deep breath will help. But
can you walk me through that right now?
yeah.
Take me in it.
Yep. So I always like to close my eyes because that helps me center and focus.
Okay.
So I just close my eyes and then inhale for 3 seconds. 2, 3. Hold the breath. 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3. Hold the breath. 2, 3. Inhale. We're going to go for 4. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. There you go. That's 3
Beautiful.
cycles.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so much more grounding just immediately. Just focus somewhere, and the easiest place is on breath because we have to breathe.
Yeah, right. And we can either do it consciously or unconsciously, right? Yeah. So when you bring your awareness into it, then you can, it will serve you more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's talk other ways. What are some other ways that mamas can, like, what gets in the way? What are the challenges that get in the way besides like screaming kids? Because that's going to be in the way. There's so many things. Like, what are some of the challenges that you see like women deal with when?
Yeah, like I see a lot of moms who, you know, especially in this whole time of COVID, right, have had to stay home and work, and then suddenly become their kids' teacher or their disciplinarian, in the sense of like they're being the teacher, making sure they get their work done, and then teaching them at the same time the things that are the kids are learning. Am I really echoing that, or is it just?
Do you have headphones to plug in?
Oh yeah. Hold on.
To the phone, and then we don't have to hear that sound.
Yeah, right.
But each time I go to type in, like, can you fix your screen so that you're looking more at the Zoom? You're like fixing your camera immediately.
This is like.
And I was just trying to tell you to fix your sound.
Because I have 2 different kinds of headphones, one for my computer, one for my phone. Okay.
Great.
Okay. There's that. Is that better?
Well, I don't know if you need them in your ears because you want to hear from your computer. We just don't want to hear the sound on your phone. That's better.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, Lord. I don't know, because anyway, well, with the headphone jack on, then I can't, yeah, let's see.
You can't hear me?
No, it's just with the headphone jack, it won't sit on anything, and I have to hold it. All right. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll just look at the Zoom one.
Principle number 2 of parenthood: fucking accept things for less than perfect.
That's right.
Just let it be.
I had to give up OCD and perfectionist immediately.
Totally. I remember this story when I first became a mom. And I used to be pretty OCD. And I mean, like, I like to have things certain ways. And I remember I went to Target to buy more diapers for my daughter when she was first born. It was my first like real trip to the store. And I go to get my daughter out, and she barfs all over me and herself. And I lift her up, and I realize she's got a really bad, she's filled her diapers. So I go, pop the hatch back up. I go and change her diaper, and I get her all changed, put her in a new set of clothes. And I realize I didn't bring me a set of clothes. And so I just had all this like barf stuff all over my shirt. And as I'm doing this, I pick her up and I see this cute little black Jetta car and this like put together little woman who reminded me of me, and zips in and gets out of her car and runs in with her cute little purse. And I pick up my baby, and then she fucking throws up on me again. And then I'm like, oh my God, do I have an extra change of clothes for her? So thank goodness I did. And then she craps again. And I'm like, oh my God, this is just not my life. This is not real. And, you know, like 15 minutes later, that girl comes back, zipping back out with her little shopping cart in hand and everything. And I was like, oh my God, you know, gone are the days where I just zip in and zip out of a store. And, you know, like, all I have to think about is what I'm going to get, you know? Like, here I am, you know, whatever. Life just arises, and it's not very perfect sometimes, and you just have to kind of roll with it.
Thank you. That's funny. Isn't that the story of the way?
Right? It's like, oh my God. And I remember the first night when I'm sure, I don't know if you were the same, when the first night when I brought her home, I was so scared. Like I slept right next to her on my bed, and I was like, is she breathing? Is she breathing? And oh, okay, she's breathing. I did not sleep a wink. She did, but I didn't. I was like worried as hell.
Right. And
Yeah.
so how did we come from like being sexy juicy, having kids, the fucking frazzle and the shit and the puke and the screaming and the no sleep? How do we come so far? Like, cause I started learning this stuff when Mela was 4 and she's 12 now.
Yeah.
How do we get from like, wow, I have no time for me, and this is like I'm being puked on all the time, and she's always touching my body. How do I want more touch from someone else? To like being fully juiced up sexy mamas. So like let's talk about some tips and tricks that we have that what?
I fell off. It fell off.
All right, well it's just me. Well, let's add you again.
Add me again. Yep.
Okay.
This is really comical.
Yeah, it is. It's great. But well, it's okay because we're being watched on the live, and we'll post the recording that may be a little better later.
Yes. Oh,
So, okay, welcome back, Dee Dee.
thank you. Okay.
So what I was asking was how do we go from that struggle of parenthood to and maybe the shutdown, maybe like there's somebody on my body and needing my attention constantly,
Yeah.
to actually being turned on, juicy, sexy, and creating the relationships that juice us up as women and not just mommies. Let's share some tips of how we got here.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to be completely honest. I didn't do it the right. Not that there's any right or wrong way, but I didn't do it the right way, and my marriage dissolved, and that's, you know, a harsh reality that happens for some, not all. But what my divorce actually taught me was I needed to take my pleasure into my own hands. And I had to be responsible for pursuing the pleasure. So the biggest thing that I would suggest to women is to have their own self-pleasure practice. And I know when you're outputting, I know I had 2 toddlers very close together in diapers, you know, when you're in the thick of it, that's when it's really hard. But you have to prioritize that. Otherwise you fall to the bottom and you can go into the extreme drain, right? Where you're just so fatigued you can't even see straight. And for me, my self-pleasure practice is what fills me up. My self-pleasure practice is, well, first off, we can talk about what does pleasure mean, because that's another, I think, great tangent. But my self pleasure, my masturbation practice, is honestly anywhere between 3 and 5 days a week. And so for me, um, um, I I just make it my priority before I get out of bed to touch myself. Sometimes I have orgasms, sometimes I don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's all energy, and we have to keep our energy moving. And if my suggestion to moms is always, okay, if you can't do the self pleasure, okay, fine, but move your body. Go run, go dance, move your body, because that movement keeps your energy going. If you don't, then you just get stagnant.
Yeah, me and Mela, even if it was with Mela and I didn't have the time for me, I would make, for an hour a day, I would put on music and I would just say, it's just dance time. We're
Mm-hmm.
just going to move our bodies and we're going to dance together or
Yeah.
separate, and we're
Yeah.
just going to move. So I just made that part of how I played with her if I couldn't do it on my own.
Yep. Yep. We do dance parties in the kitchen sometimes, and I'll even like multitask pleasure, right? Well, not pleasure, because dishes for me is not fun. But when I can turn on the music and I do this little thing called dishwash dancing, like that makes it fun. Like you have to get really creative too, I think, on the ways that you find pleasure.
Mm. Yes.
And it comes back to, what are you focusing on too?
Right. So one of the ways that I started to find, one of the things that helped me keep sane was that I always have to wake up before Mela. She's still sleeping. So I have to wake up before Mela, because I'm not just like, we're not just mamas, we're single mamas, right? So there's not always the time and space for us in a day, especially when they were younger. Mela's older now, so she can go, I can leave the house without her.
Right.
And as early as she was mature enough to stay home alone, I got her a phone and I left the whole house without her sometimes.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I needed that. But one of the best things that I did for me was to realize that I needed time and space by myself.
Totally.
And that it was okay to have that. So I started realizing that if I don't wake up before her, then my days kind of, it's just kind of like I have to go from the time I wake up.
Yeah.
So I allow myself to wake up first, and it's okay because I'm a morning person. So if you're not a morning person, then I suggest maybe like you got to put him to bed and stay up later and have your space then. So.
And that spaciousness is especially important for, you and I are both erotic blueprint coaches, right? And those clients who are energetic and who don't get that space, it's like being choked, right?
Mm-hmm.
You sometimes have to get even more creative with the ways that you find that space. So I love that you wake up early. One of the things that I learned later on is that I had to really lean into other people more. Like ask for favors from other moms. Like, can you just watch the kids for an hour while I go get the groceries by myself or whatever? I remember this one time when I had both of the kids and I was so looking forward to going to the dentist because it was like, it meant quiet time. But I mean, that's the for real stuff, right? You got to figure out, okay, maybe we can stretch a little bit further than like going to the dentist, but you have to have that time. And I think you were sharing a really fun example. I think you should share here too. That was great.
Yeah, so permission, right? So when we're with, I was talking with a friend the other day and she was so, actually it was because my mom had taken Mela on a trip. And she's like, I like enjoy that, really jealous and kind of angry at me for having that space. And I'm like, I don't see, what if you just got an Airbnb for a day or two, and because she has her daughter's dad stays in the same house with them still, and so she has a person to be with the baby. So I was like, what would be so wrong with getting an Airbnb and just taking time and space for yourself? And
Yeah.
so full permission, like, we need that space as mamas. It's like, put on your mask first. If you're not filled up and juicy
Yeah.
and able to function in your day to day from a like clear and centered space in yourself, then your kids, like, there's going to be more arguments. There's going to be more like just the fights are going to happen, the bickering, the clashing is going to happen more often because you're not centered and filled up. So it's totally cool to just give yourself that space and go away for a day or two. And one thing when I was when Mela was younger, before I started learning that we can overcome our traumas and overcome our emotional patterns, or the patterns in our family, I couldn't even connect to the fact that I could leave my daughter with someone. So I had PTSD from the military too. So I wouldn't, like, maybe I've had 5 babysitters, or 5 times that she's been babysat outside of the family, not 5 babysitters.
Yeah.
And even within the family, I didn't want her to spend too much time with them because there was things that happened in my childhood that I was afraid of being repeated. So I kept her to myself. So there was like, my dating life as a single mom looked like I met somebody, we chatted for a while on text, and then they'd have to come over at nighttime when she's sleeping. It's like, that was my life. And okay. And so one of the things that I did for that was make sure that I have my own room and space, right? So it's another part of spaciousness, is like, I have my room, because we co-slept, my daughter and I. So what I did for me was to get her a bed that's super comfortable so that I could sleep in her room. And then I set up my room as like, that's basically my play space for late night. I think I single parents invented Netflix and chill, right? Like, come after hours and the kid is sleeping at this time, and this is when I can know you. So dating, basically you work your space kind of around the kids, but making sure that you have it, right? And then in dating, like, how does it work for you? How do you find that juice? And
it's so important that you're bringing this up, because again, it just also goes to the permission piece. I think a lot of moms think, especially single moms, think, oh, I just don't have time for that, or like, it's not a priority. My kids are my focus, and I only have a finite, that's a limiting belief, I only have a finite amount of energy to give out, so I can't, but I love that you're talking about permission, because it's important to give ourselves permission to feel good, permission to like get out of that role as a mom and really explore, your landscape, your dating landscape, your sexuality, and all of that. It's so important. But we have to give ourselves permission to do those things.
Yeah.
And permission's one of my favorite words, because it's permission for everything. Permission to be a mess. It's okay to lose your shit. It's okay sometimes to not really want to be a mom. It's like, there's days when I'm like, oh my God, really? Like, I don't know what the hell is going on out there right now, but I'm having an oh my God moment. Like, I told them I was recording a podcast. Like, what part of recording a podcast don't they get about? Like, that means inside voices?
I think that means, let me make sure that I'm on the podcast.
Turn it up so she can hear me.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's okay to like have all of those feels and feel all those feels. And it's important to feel them as they arise.
Hmm.
and just let them go. You know, you don't have to get stuck in them.
Yeah. Sometimes there may be a moment of like, wow, like, what would it be like?
Yeah, right. What would it be like to go to the bathroom and not get interrupted?
Yeah. Yeah. And just allow those thoughts and emotions, right?
Yeah, yeah. So in one of the groups that I have is it's called Sassy, Sexy as You Yes. It's a group for moms to give themselves more permission and play and pleasure. The other thing we haven't really talked about here that I'd love to bring out more is play. And you started talking about that. Like for me, play has been how do I get to um, play in my sexuality? You know, what does that look like? And it doesn't have to be sexual, you know, like playing is also like, I feel like jumping on the trampoline with my kids, you know, playing is like sometimes I like drive to Starbucks and just go through, oh no.
It's okay. Um,
Oh,
it's okay. We'll just keep going here.
okay, great. I just like to drive to Starbucks just to get out of the house, get myself my favorite drink, and then I like play with, ooh, like if I were going on a date, what would I do? You know, like there's just so many different ways we can play. But
Mhm.
play is important because when we're stuck in the routine of every day and as a single mom, we figure so much stuff out, right? We
Everything.
have to have that play space.
Hmm. We're doing something playful today, right?
We totally are. What are we doing?
We're in our sexy jammies.
Sexy jammies, sexy jammies. Yes, we are.
So here's just a little tip, when you're just underneath your clothes, put something sexy on. Maybe it has a little lace on it.
Yes,
Just
yes, hot
something
mama.
sexy. So that's just
Right.
a playful invitation, because then when you feel sexy on the underneath, or like tonight I'm going to bed and I feel so sensual in my clothes and in my sheets, um, then you're juiced up, and that smile that comes off of you is going to show somebody a whole different energy, and they're like, what's underneath that?
Totally, totally. I want to see what's underneath that.
Yeah, so we decided to be playful and wear our sexy jammies to our call today. So
That's
that's
right.
just one way to be playful in the
This
day.
one. Yep. Yep. So many different ways, you know. Um, there's something that I find that comes up sometimes in my coaching, and it's this. I grew up with this idea that you have to suffer in order to like live fully. Like you've got to just either work your butt off or, you know, like there has to be some sort of like sacrifice that needs to be made. And so for me, like shedding this belief that um, everything has to come at a price or some sort of massive effort
Mhm.
was a huge like letting go and a huge step forward in my juiciness. Because when I did that, I allowed myself to have more times when I could just play and be kind of silly and goofy and, you know, just enjoy more and not have it be so hard.
Yeah. So I know that so many people, they actually get triggered by like play,
Mm.
and not, I don't know if it's triggered, but it's like, I don't have the time for that. I can't play. I'm working. I don't have the money. How can I come out of stress? What is play? And they can't even relate to the word of play.
Yeah.
So what are some more ways that we can add some playfulness?
So like I just try to infuse play in my business. So, and this is kind of a mix of pleasure and play, but you know, like I have this certification on how to read in the Akashic records. I didn't even mention that in the intro, but I can read people's soul records. And so I created my own little program to teach people how to read their own or read for other people. And there's something like 30 videos or something like that, right? And I looked at that list and I was like, how the hell am I going to get all of this done? And I decided that I was going to give myself an orgasm after I uploaded each of those videos into the Teachable, platform. And so there's like little fun ways where you can incentivize yourself. Like, okay, I'm going to give myself an orgasm. Now, I also want to just share one of my little hot tips here. During COVID, it's really hard. Your kids are there all the time, right? So that spaciousness becomes a little bit more challenging to navigate. But one of the things that I have done is I tell my kids that I do screaming yoga, and that when mommy's doing her practice, I close the door, and the door's to not be opened because I'm doing my practice and I'm doing my screaming yoga, which is, really actually like orgasmic yoga.
Yay! That's genius.
Right? I'm quite sure that as they progress and get older, they'll probably figure that out. And oh well.
Then they just have the permission to do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's perfect. Thank you.
What are some of the ways that you play, though, that you find more play in your day?
I play, so mine can be orgasmic. I'm a massage therapist also.
I was too. Yay!
I'm in my massage room right now. I have so many massage tools that double as play toys. Toys to play with.
Fun.
When I want to get really sexual and just like focus on my genitals, then I have toys. So I play with my toys.
Love it.
I love to just take baths and make that important. Like that's a space where like Mela knows I'm relaxing right now.
Yeah.
And she lets me have it because she loves it herself. So I also give her permission to play.
Yeah.
When I give her the permission to play with her body, with her space, she gets to do whatever she wants with her room, decorate it, paint the walls, whatever. Yep. Give her the space to play the way she likes to. Then she understands when I say like, this is for me. Yeah. And so when I give her that permission, that gives me more space. And
great modeling.
What's that?
Great modeling.
Oh yeah, thank you. I wear sexy clothes. I will. I plan trips for myself. So the things I play in the ways like, what is it that brings fun to my life? And then if I can't go do it right now, then I just kind of put some energy into the planning of when I can do it. So, or I think I dream up things like, what would I love to have in my life? Whether it's like a thing or a person, what kind of relationship. So I just play with dreaming up. And that's kind of some of my play is just dreaming up what I would like around me. And
that's so important right now, Holly, is we're all, in COVID still in one way, shape, or form. And there may be restrictions on what we can and can't do. So I love the idea of still putting energy into something that is coming.
Yeah.
I think that's really a great idea.
Thank you. Yeah. So what I want to do now is ask, I know, so you mentioned your Akashic records, and I know you're doing something fun in your group. So I want you to talk about that.
Okay, yes. So I'm doing Yoni readings. And so here's what I've learned in my work. That our yoni has incredible wisdom. The womb that many of us women have is a center for wisdom and creation, right? Our womb is where babies are created. It's the center of creation. And so I've I'm combining my skill of being able to read people's souls and soul contracts, and taking that now to helping women connect and tap into their yoni wisdom. So we're doing yoni readings. It's not anything naked. It's just a meditation and a space that we step into to allow people to gather information for them about their pleasure, about how they can bring more of it into their life. So it's really super fun. And if any of your followers are interested, they can go to my Sassy group, SASSYY. And then I've got a link inside of the group that they can sign up for. I'm doing 10 complimentary Yoni readings this next week. So they should hurry and get in. Yeah.
So I'll just invite you to drop the link in. I'm the live. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Right.
But I'm going to post this video in the group as soon as we're complete with it.
Great.
And, just post the link in the comments underneath so that people can find your group.
Great.
And then they can play, because that's connecting to our bodies, right? We started the call with that. That's the way, and our yoni and our pleasure center is the way to have, is one of the ways also to have more play and pleasure and expansiveness for everything in our space and everything. As mamas, just connect to that. So that's a beautiful offering. Thank you.
Yeah, it's super fun.
And so is there anything else that you want to share? Like if they could get one tidbit from you today, what would it be? We've shared so much, like breathe and get in your body. And
yeah. If I had one hot tip, I love that hot tip. I think what I see in my coaching practice is women who are either afraid to ask or don't know how to ask for what they want and what they need. And I would just encourage them to lean in more and practice the art of asking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't ask, you don't know, right? It can be a yes or it can be a no. And what if it's a yes?
Yes. Yes. What if it's a yes?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, whether that's in the bedroom or outside of the bedroom, right? I mean, yeah, we didn't even really talk about the bedroom stuff.
Yeah.
We'll do that another time.
We can have that another day.
For sure.
Okay, great. Well, we went on long today, I think, but all the technical difficulties, I have no idea what happened with time. So thank you so much for offering your time and being here and chatting with me. I have so much fun just playing with you.
Likewise, I can't wait to do it again. You're amazing mama and an inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And so we'll plan something and I'll see you another time.
Sounds great. All right. Take care. Ciao.